Yo, fancy community, welcome to Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League, episode 28. So before we get into things, I just want to congratulate the Liverpool fans on winning the Carabao Cup. Virgil van Dijk coming through in extra time with the kids to get past the $1 billion squad. So I know that the Chelsea fans still under rocks right now, they're hiding, they're ducking the feed and stuff, but I know you always surface in time for this game week and in time to watch the episode. So again, congratulations to Liverpool fans. But back over now to FPL and the Premier League. We had a game week that had again a lot of goals, except for my boys who narrowly squeaked by, but we take the 3 points nonetheless. We saw a late hat-trick from Bowen in the Monday night fixture to give Bowen owners that late jolt up the ranks. So without further ado, let's kick things off with the review of Game Week 26. So Game Week 26 kicked off with fireworks for Aston Villa asset owners as Watkins and Douglas Luiz returned, a massive 15 from Luiz, Watkins with 9 as Aston Villa roll past Forest 4 goals to 2. We had a 1-1 draw between Everton and Brighton. Crystal Palace got past Burnley 3 goals to 0. No clean sheets for the guys, with Taylor trying to sneak one through the back door there. Fulham surprised Manchester United late. I will be with the late winner down in the theatre of nightmares now. My boys Manchester City squeaked by Solanke and the Cherries of Bournemouth 1-0. Phil Foden with the winner. Holland with the assist, but he continues to frustrate all his owners. Then we had a beatdown by Arsenal on Newcastle, 4 goals to 1. Saka keeps the hot streak rolling. Then we had Wolves defeating Sheffield United 1-0. Sarabia with the winner, keeping the Wang and the Neto owners at bay, both blanks, 3 points each for those assets. And finally, again on the Monday night, we had Bowen scoring a hat-trick as West Ham rolled past the Honeybees 4 goals to 2. The 2 meaning that Brentford scored, but Tony didn't get any returns. So again, a game week with a lot of goals, some assets banged, some assets busted, but we move nonetheless. And that was your review for game week 26. And now with the reviews in the rearview mirror, we shift gears, of course, now to the Proper Things segment. I know this is the segment that most of the viewers are excitedly waiting for, as here we give you the picks that should be in your team now and going forward, as they're the centerpieces to FPL. Needle movers for the aggressive players. Spilt milk means they've overstayed their welcome and need to be moved on immediately, and wondering picks means that you should keep a keen eye on these players. Of course, we always kick things off with the segment named aptly after the show, which is the Proper Things segment. Again, these are the picks that should be in your team now and going forward, as they're the centerpieces to FPL. And last game week, we just can't seem to get that grand slam of assets, as 2 assets absolutely boomed and 1 busted. The 1 bust being Walker in defense. Couldn't get the start in Manchester City's defense with a goose egg in returns for his owners. And Saka had 10 points while Watkins had 9. So 2 absolute grand slams there, but we just can't seem to get all of them in one game week. But we move swiftly into the Proper Things defensive pick for game week 26, and that being Virgil van Dijk. And I know that Liverpool have a lot of injuries. Even Alisson is out. We know Trent is out. We don't know the status on Darwin or Salah, but Virgil seems to be the one constant for Liverpool, and he seems to be upping his offensive prowess. He scored the goal to win the Carabao Cup, but he also had 1 denied in regular time there, as I don't know how they could call pass interference on Endo when it's a football game and not an NFL game. The boy getting called for chipping or something. So I need to see that one again to see what the call was, but Virgil has a game versus Nottingham Forest this game week, I know it's going to be a little difficult for Liverpool to get the clean sheet, but I believe that they have a great chance of getting one, and also Virgil could also get returns on the attacking end, as he seems to be the target of most of their set pieces, like the corners from Robertson, and he seems to be putting them on target, which is more important. So get Virgil van Dijk in this game week, as he is your proper things defender pick. Now we move into midfield, and your proper things midfielder pick is a repeat from last week. I mean, he's been on an absolute heater. I know I said this last game week of late. His last 3 returns, or his last 3 game week returns, are 15, 15, and 10. So that is just absolutely a chef's kiss from Starboy Bukayo Saka of Arsenal, coming in at 9.2 million. I mean, what 40 points in the last 3 game weeks. Arsenal scoring goals for fun, and they have a premium fixtures come as they play Sheffield United this game week. We know Sheffield have been absolutely selling guns in defense, as they've been shifting a lot of goals in the back. So I expect Arsenal to put on another show, as they've been doing since they returned from holiday from Dubai. So I expect Arsenal to win this one comfortably, and Saka to be at the heart of everything that goes positively for the Gunners. So he is your proper things midfielder pick, coming in at 9.2 million. And finally, in attack, I know there are a lot of juicy fixtures, but the guy who comes out at the top of the striking list this week as my proper things forward pick is one Dominic Solanke, coming in at 7.1 million. I did warn you guys about rushing to bring back in this asset last game week, as he played my boys Manchester City. I didn't expect much from Solanke or Bournemouth on the whole versus the Sky Blue Army, but this game week versus Burnley, I think Solanke and Bournemouth are in for 3 points, and Solanke is in for some attacking returns. So with the list of strikers available, I do believe he's the best striking asset this week. Narrowly beats out, of course, Erling Haaland, who will feature in the Manchester Derby. I know that's one of his favourite opponents, and of course Ollie Watkins, who's been absolutely firing on all cylinders of late. But Dom Solanke narrowly edges it this game week as my proper things forward pick for game week 27. And now, with the proper things picks signed and delivered, we move to my favourite segment in the entire show. I'm speaking about the needle movers segment. And these are for my aggressive players out there who are looking to rise rank immediately. And these are the assets that could help you get that boost in points that you need. Last game week was not a good one for the needle mover picks or the aggressive players, as the template worn out. You know, Diego Dallo, 1 point. Rasmus injured after the episode was taped. And of course, the Wolves duo of Neto and Wang absolutely leaving us wanged in our hands, you know. 3 points each from the Wolves midfielders. So it was not a great week for the aggressive plays, especially with Bowen returning, Louise returning, and we just couldn't get our hands on one of those assets if we went with the Wolves midfield. This game week, we have 3 assets here that should be surefire needle movers, and first we kick things off in defense with the needle mover defender pick being Bradley of Liverpool, coming in at 4.1 million. And hear me out, I know that a lot of people have moved away from the Liverpool assets, and last game week with them banking, of course, and if you're bringing one back in, it will most likely be one of the heavier hitters or the more heavily owned assets. Even in defense, maybe it might be Virgil van Dijk, him being, of course, the proper things defender pick. But if you're looking for that off the wall play or that cheeky ball, I think Bradley offers you something really unique in the short term. As first, we know Trent Alexander-Arnold is out injured, as the defender was seen in braces during the Carabao Cup final. So Bradley looks to have locked in the right back position. We'll learn more, of course, as they play in the FA Cup on Wednesday. But once Bradley is locked in, he might not even play his entire game at right back, as he has the offensive prowess to play further up the field. And we saw that in the Carabao Cup final. We don't know the status currently on King Mo Salah or Darwin Núñez, and with Liverpool being so tight squad-wise with who is available, Bradley offers them an opportunity that he could be shifted higher up the field. And once you're a defender at 4.1 playing an advanced role for a team like Liverpool, that's an opportunity that aggressive players like me have to keep an eye on. So Bradley, for that fact, comes in as your needle movers defender pick at a very, very affordable 4.1 million. So definitely want to keep an eye on, especially going into the FA Cup. But Bradley looks to be one that could shoot you up the ranks quickly. In midfield, I have a duo of players coming at the same price of 7.7 million. The asset that I like a little more is, of course, Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal, coming in again at the 7.7. I like Martinelli more this game week simply because of the fixture being against Sheffield United. I expect Arsenal to put on a show, and I know most of the players would be already have Saka, and if you're looking to double up in midfield, of course, skipper Martin Odegaard would be the player that most would keep their eye on. This gives a unique opportunity here for the Martinelli owners to rise in rank, because I think this is one of the games that Martinelli could absolutely go berserk. He could go on a heater and get some returns. We saw what he did when he came off the bench and scored 2 late goals to get double figure returns, and it's been slow sledding since then. But this is the fixture. I think that his pace and his ingenuity on the left side of Arsenal's defense could really reap rewards for his owners. So if you're looking to rise rank, and especially if you have a wildcard 29 planned, I think it would profit you to take a closer look at Martinelli and even bring him in for that quick injection of points. So Martinelli is one of the needle mover midfielder picks for game week 27. Once you score a hat-trick, you have to get mentioned the following week, especially if you play Everton, and joining him as a needle mover midfielder picks is Bowen, coming in again at the 7.7 million. So both assets are the same price. We just saw a return to form. He's fully fit, 3 goals, and now they play Everton. And they have a fixture in game week 29. So if you don't have Bowen already, I know you felt the 20 points that all his owners got. And if you're a little on the fence, we know that West Ham is finally healthy with Paqueta back. Kudos back from AFCON and looking like his old self from earlier in the season, and Bowen up top. So you have to get mentioned in the episode. Thus, Bowen joins Martinelli as your needle mover midfielder picks. And finally, in attack, it's an asset that's been in and around the show the entire season, whether he's been fit, he's been hurt. But Alexander Isak returns as your needle movers striker pick for game week 27, coming in at 7.5 million. I mean, Newcastle has been leaky at the back, but they have been scoring goals. They even got that late goal to upset the Arsenal clean sheet. Isak is the guy who will lead the line with Callum Wilson, currently unavailable due to injury. We saw him return versus Arsenal, but there wasn't much to offer from the entire Newcastle team. I expect them to have a better showing versus Wolves this game week, and I expect Isak to be among the points. So you could jump on the Swedish striker before the train gets filled, collect some points, and collect a green arrow and some gains on the guys above you in your league. So Alexander Isak is your needle mover forward pick for game week 27. And now with my aggressive players handled, we move now, of course, to the spilt milk segment. And this segment is where we identify the assets that have overstayed their welcome in a team and need to be moved on immediately, as it's beginning to smell, it's beginning to get funky. We named 3 assets last game week that should not be in your squad. I hope you listened and got rid of them. That being, of course, Trent, Jota, and João Pedro. None of them featured. That was goose eggs, gossies around the board, so nothing much more to say there. And this game week, we have identified 3 assets again that should be nowhere near your team come game week 27. Starting off in defense with your spilt milk defender pick, it's Purvis Estupinian, the Ecuadorian from Brighton, coming in at 5 mil. I mean, he had pasta at Robert De Zerbi's house not too long ago, so I thought he would be reinserted into the starting lineup in game week 26. That was not the case. Brighton drew with Everton 1-1. Purvis coming off the bench. It doesn't look like he's an asset that you could just set in your team and hope he plays. We've waited a very long time to see the conclusion of that little rift between the manager and the player, but it seems that Purvis has supplanted himself on the bench right now. Coming in at 5 million, there are a lot of options you could pivot to, whether it be cheaper or in the same price bracket. So I can't recommend hold another week to see if Purvis regains his spot. So unfortunately, Estupinian lands on the Spilt Milk defender pick for game week 27. In midfield is a guy that is the captain of one of the premier teams in the Premier League. I'm talking about Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United, coming at 8.2 million. He did get the assist this last game week, but it just seems like Bruno just can't shift out of first gear and get back to the Bruno we all know and we all loved, that was hauling points week after week. It's been tough on the eyes for those who watch all the Manchester United games, and it's been tough on his owners. At this point of the season, with a game against Manchester City this upcoming game week, I think it would be beneficial to move him on. I mean, if you don't move him on this game week, he'll hold into 28 and then 29, and then it's a snowball after that. So I think that it's time to move on this asset. You could look at one of the Arsenal boys, or you could go for a guy like Bowen if you don't already have him, as they are all cheaper than Bruno. And I think you'll get more points from those assets. And Bruno right now, it's beginning to smell, it's beginning to get funky. Spilt Milk midfielder pick for game week 27. And finally, in attack, well, news breaking earlier today, he's again injured. He's one of, a guy that I really liked coming out of the Bundesliga in Christoph Nkunku, coming in at 7.2 million. Thought he would make a great impact in the Chelsea squad and in the Premier League, but it's not really happening for Christoph this season. I think that he needs some time away from the football to get fully right, because he's been back for a couple games and then injured, and it's been a regular occurrence this season. Can't really speak more on an injured player, but he seems to be out for at least the next 3 weeks. So if you're an Nkunku owner, he has to be moved on. So he's your definite Spilt Milk forward pick for game week 27. Now with the Spilt Milk delivered, we move now to the Wondering Pick segment. Again, these are the players you should keep a keen eye on, with plans of bringing them in the upcoming game week. Last game week, we said we needed to see the conclusion of the Estupinian Ben saga, and we got our answers. 1 point. Bruno, he did get the assist, but nothing much to say there. 4 points. And Darwin, we want to see if he would feature in the Carabao Cup, but he seemed to be okay for a man who could sprint and jump over barriers. So we wait more to see what happens in the FA Cup on Wednesday versus Southampton for Darwin Núñez owners. This game will be assets that we want to keep a keen eye on. You would see a real symmetry here with the assets, as these teams and these assets have 2 games in game week 28. And firstly, it's Alfie Doughty of Luton coming in at 4.6 million. Again, the defender is one of the best attacking fullbacks in the entire league. He always seems to be whipping in the crosses for the Luton attackers to get some goals, but it just hasn't happened for him of late. We would like to keep a keen eye on him again in the FA Cup today versus my boys Manchester City. He features, and then this game week ahead of their double, to see if we could see glimpses of the Alfie of old, coming in at 4.6 million. Again, he's not one who will price you out of bringing him in if you're looking to attack the double, but we need to see a little more from Luton. We definitely need to see a little more from Alfie. So he's your wondering defender pick for game week 27. In midfield, we have Tavernier of Bournemouth coming in at 5.4 million. I know the asset that everyone is excited about in the double game week is Solanke, but if you're looking to double up with the attacking assets of Bournemouth, or are looking to attack the double game week, I think Tavernier is one of the better options from the Cherries midfield. You need to keep a keen eye on him this game week. They have a great fixture to do that versus Burnley. We need to see what positions he's getting in ahead of the double. So if we see something we like from Tavernier going in to that double game week for Bournemouth, he might be one to seriously consider. So he's your wondering midfielder pick for game week 27. And finally in attack, it's Morris of Luton, coming in at 5.1 million. He is the guy locked in on penalties for Luton, double game week in 28, and he of course is one of their first players on the team sheet when they put out their 11. We want to see how he goes this game week, if he could get into the double game week fit, and again, locked in on penalties, so if someone falls in the box, it's Morris time. So we keep a keen eye, want to see how he goes, and we also want to see if Adabai or Abayo returns for Luton, because then that could throw out a spanner in the works for Morris owners. So if he's out, fire up Morris for the double game week as well. So definite wondering pick for game week 27. So that concludes the proper things segment for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed delivering the picks as always. I know if you all agree or disagree, you could go down in the comment section. Let me hear your opinions. You could say fire picks, or Mike, I'm not really feeling these picks and this is why, and here's who I really like now. So I appreciate all the feedback from all the viewers out there. And while you're there in the comment section, it would be really nice if you like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all the support out there. And now with the proper things segment covered, we move now to the segment called Captaincy Corner. And I know a lot of managers, they have that little dilemma on who to put that coveted armband on, but we have you covered here on Captaincy Corner. And last game week, I said that Holland was the safest captaincy pick simply because of the sheer volume of owners that would go his way. But Watkins, if you have that little cheeky ball in here, I believe that he was a player that could outscore Holland, and he actually did. So for all those who went with Watkins, congratulations to you. In this game week, we have a unique opportunity which will see a lot of different captaincy picks, as there is no standout best captaincy option this game week. We have a lot of juicy fixtures. We have a Manchester derby as well. So my favorite captaincy pick, without further ado, for game week 27 is the face of the Premier League according to Arsenal fans, and that is Bukayo Saka. And what can I say, this asset has been on an absolute heater again. 15, 15 and 10 in his last 3 game weeks. I mean, when he scored 40 points in the month of February, well, you can't really say anything. And then when you look at the fixture list, he plays Sheffield this game week. So form and fixture rarely meet, but it's a perfect storm for Saka this game week, and he has to be the best captaincy pick here on Captaincy Corner for game week 27. In second place, it's not Erling Haaland. Again, it's the striker who I think has the best fixture this game week, and he's absolutely in form. I'm talking about Dom Solanke from Bournemouth. He also was your proper thing striker pick. I think the Cherries have a great fixture against Burnley. We all know that Solanke's been absolutely having the season of his life, and I think he'll relish an opportunity to return to scoring ways after a tough fixture versus the Sky Blue Army in game week 26. In third spot, he can't really fall off the list, although his form has not been what we've known him to have since his arrival in the Premier League. I'm speaking about Erling Haaland, but he does play against Manchester United this game week, which is one of his favourite opponents. It's the Manchester derby. Lights will be on bright, and hopefully Kevin De Bruyne returns to the starting lineup. I mean, Haaland is not firing on all cylinders, but we know that he could go nuclear in any given fixture, and Manchester United is one of his more favoured games, so can't land further than 3 this week. At 4, it's an asterisk, but Mo Salah, we need to know if he's back from injury. We'll have the FA Cup to keep an eye on him, and then of course they play Forest, so Mo Salah lands on 4. And to close out the top 5, we have my needle movers midfielder pick in Gabriel Martinelli closing out the list. So again, my favorite pick being Bukayo Saka. I expect Arsenal to put on a show, so if you have him, put the armband on and Don't think twice, and if you don't have him, you need to get him in to at least cover the spread. So good luck to all the managers out there, and hopefully your captaincy bands and this segment helped you with settling that dilemma. Next up, we have the segment with the most bans and the rowdiest group chat I've ever been a part of, especially this last past game week where the red and blue armies clashed, and after the meeting of the minds, while the dust settled, we still here with the latest update in the race for the 10K. And of course, here on the race for the 10K, we give you the latest update in the standings of the TT FPL Pro-League. And if we look at the standings, we see that we could just run the tape back from last episode, because the top 5 remain the top 5, with Sober Slads and FPL Trini leading the way. Again, it's been a match this last couple game weeks from FPL Trini towards the title and the 10K. 70 points this last game week in 26 and 1706 on the season. And if we look at FPL Trini's team this game week, we could see Ariola in gloves in the back, Taylor, Gabriel, Walker in defense. But his midfield absolutely banged with double digits from 3 of the assets: Bowen, Saka and Foden, 20, 10 and 11. Hechan with 3, Watkins, Solanke and Captain Holland with 10 points. And he does have Virgil, Palmer and Poro returning to the fold this game week, available for selection with fixtures. So another game week where Sober Slads retains his spot atop the perch, and FPL Trini continuing to lead the way. So congrats again to FPL Trini. Closely in second is Awick 12, Andre Roberts 55 points, 1680 on the season, 26 points behind the leader, and he's looking to try to close the gap in the upcoming game weeks, as FPL Trini just trying to, get away from the chasing pack. In third is Sky Saw Redemption by Stefan, 51 points on the game week, 1650 on the season. White Rice Party by Salim, 59 points and 1650 on the seats, and 1643 on the season. And Everyone Loves a Fatty by Ryan, 57 points and 1638 on the season. Now that we're looking at 6th and 7th, we're seeing some green arrows, so some movement here on the table, as Coilers FC by David climbing up to 6th with 59 points this game week and 1630, and Dr. Phil Foden by Capel also climbing 1623 this season and 53 to get 7th. In 8th is Midas Touch by Lorenzo, Lord of the Mings by Jordan Clutches 9th, and 10th is Baruda FC by Sheen. And again, honorable mention to 11 and 12, Pelican Bay by Nick and Lion King by Simba. So that is the dirty dozen there atop the TT FPL Pro-League. So a little small round of applause again for those guys, just continuing to have a stellar season this year. So look a little further down, not too far down as earlier in the season, we see another green arrow there from Legacy 10X and my boys. And if we take a look at my team, we could see that a late move there for Rashford, as the news of Kevin De Bruyne and not starting, and it looked bleak for him featuring in the game, caused me to make a little extra transfer for the -4, which was turned out to be -2, as Rashford outscored De Bruyne by 2 points, but a lot more points were there to be had if I could have gotten the Bowen or Douglas Luiz points, so I missed there. So while we're looking at my team right now, we could see Gabriel, Saliba, Darlow, Taylor, Saka, Rashford, Foden, Hechan, Watkins, and of course Captain Holland. I do have Darwin and Palmer returning to the fold this game week, but my planned transfer, since you waited the entire episode, you could see an insight into what I'm thinking. I'm thinking right now of moving away from the boy Rashford, but I don't really know which one of the two needle mover assets that I want, because I really like Martinelli this game week, but again, I already have the 3 Arsenal assets, 2 in defense, and of course Starboy Saka, so that will require a hit. And then Bowen being the other move, and I could do that by just swapping out for Rashford, but I really do like Martinelli this game. And on the other hand, I have to keep a keen eye on Darwin to see if he's available, as it doesn't look like he could be at the time of recording. So if Darwin is out, I may just have to do a vanilla transfer and switch Darwin out to Solanke and run it like that. But right now the current thinking is that I need someone for Rashford, and then if Darwin doesn't play, I might absolutely have to move on Darwin as well for Solanke. So looking like a week that a -4 might be in play. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Proper Things. Hope you all having a great season. You all enjoying the content. I hope you all were blessed with green arrows last game week, and you all be blessed with another green arrow this week. I want to see those comments down in the comment section, whether you agree with the picks, whether you disagree, whether you have better alternatives, or you're just saying, congrats Mike, just enjoying the show. You know, you don't really get that now. So while you're there, leave in your comments. If you could also like the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be a great help. So again, thanks for all the support. Hope that this game week, goes better than the guys who didn't have Bowen last game week. And we'll be back next week to see how it all shakes out. And as always, don't forget to do proper things in all walks of life. I'll see you all next week.